Hey, my fantastic friends. Okay, so here we go. Today's video, a Revit tip, is about custom curtain walls. One of my clients was trying to put a curtain wall in, and they put in a door in the wall, and then they put a curtain wall in, but then they realized they needed a transom above the door, and that's 3 pieces. And I was like, no. You can actually embed a door into the curtain wall, and the transom's part of it. So I said, let me show you how. And I realized I want to show you guys how to do or make custom curtain walls. And this is usable as storefront on the exterior of your building or interior. Like if you have a glass wall, as you're walking down a corridor, maybe in your building, and there's a glass wall with a door, and there's a guy's office there, that kind of stuff. Internal or external to the building, curtain wall system. So here we go. Let me share my screen with you. And I know that you want to learn about curtain walls. Okay, enough of that. That was totally free. Okay. So if you recorded that, maybe you could use it and sell that fantastic pop hit on curtain walls on the internet. Go ahead, make yourself $1 million. Okay, here we go. What we are talking about, let's go to 3D of our little building here. Okay, this is what we're talking about. Outside, I'm just going to put a curtain wall, but before we get going, let me just say something. Curtain walls are typically governed by rules. You can have rules that say, I want you to have a grid vertically every 2 feet. And every time you put a curtain wall in, ding, 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 every 2 feet, you're going to get one. See, that's a rule. You can say, I would like a rule that horizontally at every 3 feet, I'd like a curtain wall. I mean, a mullion, and it'll do it. So you can tell rules to be in curtain walls. You could say, I want this curtain wall to have 4 mullions vertically, or weight 3, or weight 2. You can adjust it, and it will change. And it's the rules that you can embed into curtain walls are pretty cool. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. What I want to do is go custom. Okay, custom. All right. In my template, I have a curtain wall that's called just a piece of glass. I'm going to show it to you. Okay, it has no rules turned on. And here's where we're going to go. I'm going to click on the wall tool. Okay, and on my properties, on the drop down, I'm going to scroll down all the way to the bottom. And down here at the bottom, I've got 3 curtain walls. Whoops, I clicked off it. There we go. 3 curtain walls that are usable. This is the one I'm talking about. Custom, just a piece of glass. Get my face out of the way for a second. Okay, look. Custom, just a piece of glass. I have 2 more in there. One's called storefront. It's border and mullions. And one's a fixed number of verticals. You don't need those. Look at this custom piece of glass. If I click on that, and then I put one, I'm just going to put one in my project right here. We get a 2-story or 3 piece of glass. Okay. And if I pick the edges of it, we'll look at its properties. And sure enough, it's going from the 1st floor up to the roof. And I'm going to say, no, just go to the 2nd floor. When I do that, it shortens. See, it shortens down to just a piece of glass. That's all it is, a piece of glass. Okay. And I'm going to show you the properties of that. I'm just going to click on it. It's not very useful as a giant piece of glass. Okay, it's not ready. This is kind of where I start sometimes. But I'm going to show you a better way to start than just a piece of glass. I just discovered this recently, and I'm going to show you so we can all learn together. Okay, let me look at the properties of this. I'm going to click Edit Type button, and I'm going to move my face out of the way, and we're going to look at these properties for a sec. Okay, this curtain wall that I've just placed has nothing. It has no rules. So let's just look. The vertical grid is set to none. There's no layout, none. And if you look a little further, the horizontal grid has no layout. That means there's no rules set up. Yeah, there's drop-down options for a fixed distance between things, or a fixed number, or some maximum spacing or minimum spacing. I'm leaving it on none. Now, the mullions that get automatically placed are also set to none. Look, the vertical mullions. The interior ones are the ones that are out on the middle, and border 1 and 2 on the vertical mullions is the left and right sides. None, none, none. They're all set to none. Horizontal mullions. The interior ones are the ones out on the middle, and the border is the bottom and the top. Okay, but they're all set to none, 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 none. Okay, so that's why when I place this, it has no grid anywhere and it has no mullions. It just simply has it's a gigantic piece of glass. That's a good starting point. But I realize that's probably not the best starting point. Why? What if when you put in a curtain wall, it already has a border and it doesn't have any grid out in the middle. It only has mullions set so that when you do get a grid, you'll get a mullion there. So let's do that. So here's what I want you guys to do. Pick any of your curtain walls that you have in your project and hit Edit Type and hit Duplicate, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this. I'm going to call it, let me just back this out. I'm going to call it Custom. And I'm going to put in parentheses. Look, mullions appear as we go. Something simple like that. And say, okay. So now this is a custom curtain wall and mullions will appear as we go if we set some of the parameters, the rules. We're going to set rules on this. We are going to leave the vertical grid set to none. We're going to leave the horizontal grid set to none, but we're going to set the mullions to all the verticals and all the horizontals, even out in the interior and the border. Okay, so here we go. The interior, if you have a rectangular mullion, just put it in there. Just pick whichever one you want. I hope you have a rectangular mullion as part of your project. If I look in here and I don't have a rectangular mullion that I want, let's say I want one that is 2 inches by 4 exactly, and I don't have that one. I'm like, all right, I'm going to hit OK, because you can't make a new one right there. I think the best place to make a new one really fast, this is a quick aside, if you want a 2 inch by 4 inch mullion. Okay, so we're going to go down to families. Okay, and I'm going to come down to curtain wall mullions category. And I'm going to come down to rectangular mullion. If you don't even have one of those, you need to load one. You can load them from the content that came from Revit. Just load a rectangular mullion into your project. Okay. And I expand that and I look down here and I don't have one that is 2 inches by 4 inches. So I'm just going to pick one, any one, doesn't matter. I'm going to right click and hit duplicate. And if there are none listed, you can pick the word rectangular mullion and right click and hit new type. And I can do that right here, new type, just to show you. You either duplicate one you've already got and then edit it, or hit new type. So if I hit new type, it's just going to call it rectangular mullion. And I'm going to say, okay, this is going to be a 2 by 4 period. Okay, I don't even have to go further than that. It's a 2 by 4. So I've added a new type. And now I'm going to double click it because I want to set the parameters that are behind my face. Okay, let me move my face out of the way again. Here's the parameters. This needs to be 2 inches by 4. We've already decided that, right? So the thickness parameter is the 4. So let's set that right off the bat, okay? It's 4. Now the dimensions down here below, the width to side 1 and width to side 2 means if this mullion is crammed up against the side of a wall, you know, the side of your curtain wall, it'll use the full 2 inches on the left or on the right. Okay, you with me? But if this thing is out in the middle, you have to divide the 2 inches how you want it. And it makes sense to go 1 inch on the left and 1 inch on the right. I honestly don't know if side 1 is the left or the right, but it's kind of irrelevant, isn't it? You want 1 inch on side 1 and 1 inch on side 2. The quantity there gives you your full 2 inches. You guys with me? So I'm going to say, okay. Okay, so we've just created a mullion that we can use. So if we go back to, I'm going back in to mullions appear as we go. I'm going to edit the type, and here we're back to the rules. No vertical grid, no horizontal grid, but we're going to set all the mullions, the interior and the border 1 and 2 for both vertical and horizontal to our new 2x4s that we just made. So I just click on the drop down, and there it is, 2x4. Okay, and I'm just going to go click on the 2x4s each time, because you could say the interior ones are a different size than the border. You can do this, okay? But I'm just going to put them all the same to make it easy for this Revit tip. So I'm just going to go down to down, 2x4, 2x4, 2x4. Okay, enough clicking, Mike. So I've set the rules for the vertical and horizontal mullions, but I've set no rules on the grid layout. So I'm just going to say, okay. And you'll notice that instantly, you see it? The border instantly popped in because of the rules. It said on the left and right and the top and bottom, there has to be a mullion. Bam, and it's in, okay? So what I'm gonna do now is show you how to edit this. So watch. If you want to edit this and add grid lines, you have to go to the architecture tab and click on curtain grid. That's what we're going to add. Okay. So when you click there, it's preset on all segments, but you don't have to stay there. Let's just leave it there for a moment. If I bring my cursor out onto this playing field here, onto this curtain wall, if I am hovering near something horizontal, it's giving me a dashed line vertical. See that? And if I were to click, it will put a mullion at that location because we put it in the rules that the verticals out on the middle of this are going to have a mullion on them. That was one of the rules that we set up, right? Now look at this. If I hover near something vertical, it gives me a horizontal dashed line where a horizontal mullion would appear. And if I click, it pops in. So you with me? If you hover near or over something that is horizontal, it'll give you an option for something vertical. So I can put in verticals. Ding, ding, ding. I'm just putting in some verticals. See, whatever. Okay, look at that. But if I hover near something vertical, it's going to give me an option for something horizontal. Do you see how I'm just clicking around? Now that's all segments. That means the segment's going all the way across. But look, if you switch it to one segment, you can put a grid in a single segment. You see what I'm doing there? You can subdivide it further. Look, I can put one there, and I can go even smaller. I can keep going down, smaller and smaller and smaller until it starts getting ridiculous. But you see what I'm doing? You can put individual little mullions in here, okay? Wherever you want them. I'm just showing you guys. So you can add custom little mullions wherever and build this thing how you want. Now, I told you that there was a way to make a door in this, okay? But first, I'll also explain, look at this. If you put your cursor out here and let's just say this area right, I don't know, centered. Okay, this centerpiece, I want this centerpiece to have a double door here, a double door that people could walk through, okay? So what I need to do is tell this piece of glass to be a door. But first, how wide is this? What if it's only 1 foot wide? What if it's 12 feet wide? We kind of have to know how wide this thing is to put a door in. You know, really, because in Revit, And here's what I mean by not really. Do you notice that the glass in here flexes to be the exact size, whatever I've done? Because look at this. If I put my cursor right here on one of these mullions, I know there's a grid line there. I have to hit the tab key and I can pick the grid. You see that? I pick the grid, all right? And it's telling me how far that grid is from the one before. And if I wanted that to be exactly a foot, I could click on that number and change the number, the temporary dimension, and it's going to move my grid over. Okay. Now, this grid it's referencing this other grid. I can drag that dot over and say, I would like you to reference this other grid over here. And would you take a look at that? It says it's 5'1". If this needs to be 6 feet in here, I need to just change this number. So wait, I don't want to move this guy. I want to move this one over so it's 6 feet. So look at this. I'm going to go tab till I can get it. My timer went off for my sprinkler outside. Oh boy. Okay. So look, I'm going to drag this. So what I did was I highlighted the grid I want to move. And then I drag the little dot to the location I want to reference. And it says it's only 5 foot. So I'm going to change that to 6 foot. Okay. And it pushed these others way close, too close for comfort. I want them to be a foot apart also, just like this other one over here. So I'm going to put my cursor on there. I'm going to hit tab. I just picked I know I'm working in 3D, but what I did was I just picked the grid that's behind the mullion. And it says it's only 1.5 inches. So I'm going to change it to 1 foot. That's more like it. Okay, so here's what we've got. We were able to move the grids around and you can control them. You can't move the mullions. You have to move the grid that's behind the mullion because the mullions are actually hosted onto the grid. They do not move independent of each other at all, ever. You have to have a grid there. So that's why we used curtain grid, and mullions appeared at those locations. You with me? So in order to move a mullion, you move the grid. Just saying. So anyway, so here I am with a big piece of glass. Now, if I change this into a door, I'm going to trip over the mullion across the bottom, right? So we need to get rid of that. So if I click on that, hover over and pick that mullion, it's pinned to the rule that says there must be a mullion across the bottom. So if I unpin it, what I'm doing is I'm unpinning it from the rule that forces a mullion to be there. And then I can hit the delete key, okay? And look, the mullion is gone. Oh, it's gone. And I'm gonna pick this piece because see, each one, wherever there's a vertical, it creates a location for a grid. And so each of these is technically broken into pieces. So I'm going to unpin that one and delete it. And finally, this piece, unpin it and delete it. Okay, now I'm ready to turn the glass right there into a door, okay? Now, it is called a curtain panel. And if I try to pick it, it's kind of hard sometimes, because if it looks like this with the 3 dashed lines going all the way around, that's the whole curtain wall. Don't want that. And if I pick here, that's the grid. So if you really want to get the curtain wall panel, you might have to use the tab key. So put your cursor near the edge of it, where you know the edge is, and hit your tab key. And what it's going to do, it's going to cycle through all the different things that are in that location. So it's highlighted it right off the bat, but I'm going to keep tabbing just to show you what I'm talking about. Tab, 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 tab. See how it cycles through everything that's under my cursor? When it finally highlights the object I want, that's when I click and it selects it. And if you look at my properties, it'll say that it is a system panel glazed. That's why there's glass there. Go figure. If I click on that, I can swap it out for something else. I can swap it out for anything else in my list. I can swap it out for another wall. Look, I can swap it out for, wait for it. Look at it, interior walls, exterior. I got a lot of walls in my template, okay? I've preset them. Look at this. I'm gonna make it into a brick wall. Are you kidding me? I just changed the curtain panel into a solid brick wall. And you guys can do that too. You can make it into a different color glass. You can make it into nothing if you want. Watch this. I'm going to hover on the edge of it, tab, 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 pick it. So I've picked it and I'm going to swap it out. I'm going to just scroll up. Look at this. I'm trying to find trying to find all my cool stuff. All right. I'll just keep it simple. Let me, well, down here is a system. Back to glazed. Goes back to glazed. And if I don't want glazed, I'm going to swap it, friends. I'm going to swap it out for, if I scroll all the way to the top of my list, I have a curtain wall double door and a curtain wall single door that I can swap it out for. If you don't have those in here, when you scroll up to the top, then you need to load it from the content that Revit gave you, the custom, I mean, not the custom, but the content that the stock content, go get it. It's under doors and you can just load it into your project. It's called a curtain wall double or a curtain wall single or a storefront double, whatever. You can even edit those to make them exactly how you want. But I loaded them. And so I'm just going to click on the double door. Now look, bam. Are you kidding me? Look at that. Double door just popped in to my project. So that is, we're not quite done, okay? I'm gonna do one other thing. What if this curtain wall is not exactly a rectangle? What if it's not a rectangle? What can I do about it? Okay, let me just show you. How about this? I want to edit the shape of this curtain wall. It's pretty cool. Let me just get up here and look and I'll show you. If I hover around until I pick the edge condition, so it highlights the whole curtain wall, a button appears at the top under, it's on the modify, edit profile. And when I click that button, look what happens. You guys see this? This is the perimeter of my wall and I can edit this shape. It's like, what? Yes, I can edit this. So let me just spin this around so I'm facing it so I can see it better, okay? I just hit the little view cube to get this oriented to face it, but I'm just showing you, this is my curtain wall. I can change the shape. What? Okay, watch. Let me change the shape. I am going to draw a line right across here, okay? And up, wait for it, up. And I'm going to trim out that edge. Look, I'm changing the edge of this thing. It's like, what are you doing that for, Mike? Okay, if I finish, look what happens. Okay, look at that. I finished it. The curtain wall, it changed to that shape. Do you see what's going on here? Okay, let's get a little more complicated. Let's pick this thing. And let's move it away from the building a little bit so you can see what's going on. Okay, let's edit the profile some more. Well, what if this thing was sloped at a weird angle on the side, Mike? Okay, look, what if it came down like that? What if my curtain wall was like that? You got to get rid of this this other line so that you have a single edge condition, okay? And if I check the box, look, do you guys see what's going on here? It has reformed and added the mullion like it's supposed to, but I can still work with this. Look, I could add more grids. Ding, ding, how about one way over here? Bam, come on over here, very close to the edge. Trying to get one way close to the edge. And, oh, that made my door really short. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that grid right there at that location. Boy, that was kind of stupid, Mike. You just made your short door. Okay. Okay, I'm going to hit cancel. Here's what I'm going to hit undo. Here's what you should do. When you you don't want to put your grids all the way across. When you go to put curtain grids in specific locations, just use one segment. Just these tiny little segments you can place in here. Okay. You don't want it to shoot across your door because it'll cut your door in half, and that's kind of stupid. Okay, we're getting smart here, smarter. And what happened over here? I broke it. Man, it's hard, Mike. Mike is breaking things. Okay. What if I wanted to curve the top? Okay. Edit profile. Okay. I want to curve the top of this thing. What are you talking about, Mike? A curved top on a curtain wall? I don't think so. I'm going to trim this back down here because I don't feel like dealing with that right now. Okay, finish. Okay. Now look, curved on top. I'm talking about a curtain wall here that is editable and changeable to be the shape that you need it to be. It's great. But and last, I think, oh, we're at 27 minutes. Let's say you wanted this to be aluminum, okay, aluminum material. And I believe the place to make it what aluminum is back under the curtain wall mullions in your families. If you double click on it, I believe it gives you a place right here for the material. Yep, right there. You remember we were here a minute ago, we gave it the 2 inches divided and the 4 inches to make it the 2x4. Well, the material was right there. And if I click on that, I'm going to make it aluminum or painted white, whatever, painted white aluminum. Let me see what I can find. Aluminum, you got to spell it right. Aluminum. And there's painted white aluminum. Okay. I'm going to switch it to that. And that pushes that material to your mullions. You put the material into the mullion and it pushes to wherever it's being used in your entire project. All right. That is fun. It's really fun to deal with custom curtain walls in your project. And I think the last thing I'm going to do is show you what a plan view looks like. Okay. Here is the curtain wall in plan view. Looks like any other wall. You click on it. You can flip the curtain, the door swing, whichever direction you need. Bam, done. All right. So it is fun working with custom curtain walls, and you guys try it. Try to make one called custom, and what did I call it? The mullions pop in as I place them. Whatever. I can't remember what I actually called it. All right, you guys have a fantastic day. Happy Reviting. Until we meet again, I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye-bye.